Peace and blessings, everyone. Wanted to share with you some of my meditation reflections. I've been journaling pretty much this whole year. It's 2022, and I've been journaling just about every day. Meditation reflections, I call them divine downloads. And for quite some time, I've been thinking about revealing some of those to you here on the YouTube channel or on the podcast, wherever you are consuming Spiritual Nomad things. And today, I felt particularly led to share with you about what is currency in a 5D world. And some of you may not be aware of what 5D is, the fifth dimension. And really what I look at this is the kingdom dimension. Obviously, many of you know my story coming from a more Christ-centric world. Jesus talked about the kingdom of God more than anything else. And he said that the kingdom of God is a kingdom that is not of this world. It's an otherworldly reality that is breaking into this present age. A lot of people of his day would call it the present evil age. And we're not really talking about people who are doing, seances and things out in the woods necessarily. We're talking about just this evil age that seeks greed, seeks destruction, seeks control, manipulation. These are all things that are evil. These are things that are selfish in terms of separation. And so what the kingdom does, the fifth dimension, the new earth reality, breaks into the 3D reality or the evil age of separation and just simply, for selfish gain. And it absorbs all of that into complete perfection. You would like to know that the word salvation or saved is sozo, and that's healing. And that doesn't just simply mean physical healing. That means holistic healing, emotionally, physically, psychologically, relationally, emotionally, all of these things. Maybe I already said that, but the point is that it's complete wholeness. It's absolute bridging together any illusion of separation. And so whenever I learn more about fifth dimension from different teachers and different people on podcasts or on YouTube, I'm like, yeah, this is the kingdom of God. This is what Jesus was talking about. His primary message, you can ask any theologian, it is irrefutable that the primary central message of Jesus was the kingdom of God. And salvation was reality of living into the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is not heaven. It's not someplace later on that you go to. Jesus says the kingdom of God is at hand. The Gospel of Thomas, and even in John, it says the kingdom of heaven is within you. And so this is a reality. This is a dimension of reality that can be witnessed, experienced, lived into. And where I come from in my theological schooling, I was taught that the kingdom of God breaks into this age, that it's the kingdom of the already and the not yet. And I still think that that's a very good way of looking at it, because we are going to still live in a 3D reality in the present evil age, where we even struggle within ourselves at times, fear, scarcity, lack, separation. We're still going to have those feelings that come up. But the idea is that the more that you live into kingdom awareness or 5D reality or wholeness or union, the more that you live into that, the less any of those feelings are going to be at hand, the less you're going to live into those realities. And so the 5D reality breaks into the 3D reality. Now, obviously, the quote goal, if you will, I put that in air quotes because the idea of goal or winning or beating anybody is an illusion within itself. There is no winning, losing anything. That is only limited to the 3D worldview. But, and there's 4D as well, but we're going to the quantum here to bring it into the physical reality. The goal of it is that you would live into this as a state of being. And elements of the kingdom or 5D is, again, it's healing. It's being able to bypass time and space, right? And so you see Jesus, this avatar, doing all of these things. He's healing people because he is beyond the 3D reality. He is in the fifth dimension of absolute union. He says, I can only see what my Father in heaven is doing, meaning that source, creator, the orchestrator, the divine creator of all things, that pulls all things in orchestration in perfect divine timing, perfect divine order, perfect divine union. Jesus says, I can only see what's happening in that realm, that dimension, and I pull that into this plane, and vibrationally, it changes in accordance to what's happening in that dimension. That's why whenever people are blind and he puts mud on their eyes, and then they say, they look like trees, and then he does it again, and then they're healed and they're able to see. He's creating vibrationally the difference from 3D into 5D. And so what we are seeing Jesus' proclamation over and over again is that. And so the invitation is to live into that vibrational space. Another one that I wanted to mention, almost forgot it. Glad I remembered. Jesus walking on water. He's defying gravity. He is teleporting. They see him on one side of the Sea of Galilee, and then immediately he's on some other side. Even after Jesus' death and resurrection, well, let's just talk about his resurrection. He transcends even the element of death. If you read Thoth the Atlantean, who was in ancient Egypt, who ruled over the Egyptians, or Chem is what it was called before Egypt, he defies death by living into a different vibration where death cannot taste. Death has no sting, because you're able to function at a level of vibration, a frequency that transcends the physical 3D reality of death. And that's what happens with the avatar of Jesus, is they kill him. And he says, even before his death, that I have the power, I can lay down my body and I can take it up again. It's this, again, 5D kingdom reality of the soul that is eternal, that chooses to pull on this flesh suit in the 3D, and it can take it off and put it back on, and vice versa. So Jesus transcends death, and he teaches his disciples this, so much so, and they begin to witness it, that as you read even in Acts, where they baptize the Ethiopian eunuch, he hears him, I believe it's Philip, if memory serves me correct, I think it's Acts 8, where he hears someone reading Isaiah, and he says, this is about the guru Jesus. This is about the master who came to show us the reality of fifth dimension living. They don't use that language, of course, but archaic language would be this is the prophet that you are reading about, who came to eliminate darkness from our eyes, to see through the illusion of separateness. Again, that's not the Bible translation. That's my translation. But he baptizes him, which is a symbolic ritual of cleansing, okay? This is not something, mega churches have taken this and it's just like, you get dunked and you smile and you get the t-shirt, and you get the certificate. Baptism is a cleansing ritual of being immersed into the waters and born into a new dimension of consciousness. And Jesus was a part of a sect called the Essenes, and they took their ritual cleansings very, very seriously, which John the Baptist did as well. Anyway, Acts talks about they baptize this Ethiopian eunuch, and then all of a sudden, the devotee of Jesus, the disciple of Jesus, gets transported, transcends time and space to a town that is miles away. So ultimately, not only Jesus himself, but he's given the power. He says, all heaven and earth power has been given to me, and now I give it to you, my devotees. You now go and are able to live into this new reality. You have direct connection to source. You will do greater things than me. And we see his disciples, his devotees, doing this, transcending time, where they are taking 5D reality, transmitting that into the consciousness of 3D image, time, space, and manipulating it, changing it. Not the manipulation that's normal to the 3D of taking advantage of people, but for the healing, wholeness, reconciliation of all creation. And that is the element of the kingdom breaking into and breaking us open into this kingdom 5D consciousness that is available today for the purpose of healing, wholeness, transcendence, transformation, getting down to the core essence of our true self that finds its root in the source of all being with kingdom, and opening us up into all of the avenues and elements of that coming alive. So the goal, again, on this tangent, the goal of our life big air quotes, the goal of our life is to live into that 5D reality, to dismiss fear, to walk out of anxiety and doubt, to live into transcendent reality where we literally are changing. My wife and I have been talking about, we feel ourselves changing on cellular and molecular levels, that we are able to participate in this kingdom of God or 5D consciousness or new earth or whatever it is that you want to call it, and usher in this awakening for not only our own self, because that's 3D level things. 3D level things is, what do I get out of it? How do I make it? What do I get in it for me? What's in it for me? Show me the quote evidence or whatever it is. This reality is that it includes you yet transcends you, and you begin to see your individual self dissipate into the collective, and you contribute out of the abundance of your eternal being to the whole. And so my wife and I have been going through this experience of just feeling this, and there's a whole lot of up and down with it, okay? It isn't all just walking down the sidewalk, just humming beautiful tunes and blowing bubbles with, rainbows and butterflies and unicorns trotting down the street. It is difficult. It is hard because you are in this already, but not yet, as my vineyard tradition tells me, this kingdom theology. You are in this time of transition. And so again, the point is that we utilize the elements, the currency of the kingdom that gives us the ability to walk into greater consciousness in that. And eventually what happens is, and this is what we're feeling, is that shift from where we place your hope and trust, your faith. Because that's really what it comes down to. Where do we have belief and faith? I have belief and faith that there is a source, order, creation of all things. And what I want to share with you just really briefly today is, what is the currency of this? And that is what I journaled about this morning. I know the beginning of this video was about telling you about some of my divine downloads. And I have many in here. This journal I started in this journal right here. And just in the past, I don't know, let's see, what is it? So today's the 21st of February, and I have filled up notes till here. So this is the next new page, or that's the next new page. At any rate, I filled up these notes with just all of these divine downloads. And today I felt inspired to share this one with you, because this is exactly what we're talking about. For any of you that are struggling in this tension space between 3D and 5D, this video, this podcast is for you. The download that I got today is, a 5D world doesn't play by 3D rules. And so many of us are holding on to security, comfort, expectancy, assumptions, expectations for how life should work. And we are trying to open ourselves up to greater levels of awareness in 5D or kingdom reality. But we have to understand that it's not going to play by the same rules. And so if there's particular comforts that you're expecting, like a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th, or a big CEO to come along and see all of your talent and hire you, if you're waiting for those sort of normal ways of, quote, breakthroughs in this material world, if you're waiting for the great, I've been out of it for so long. What's the retirement package that they give you? I don't know. 401k. If you're waiting for the great 401k and the healthcare and all of that, those rules of what it means to live into the fullness of your life, they've never really been the fullness of life. And I think that, the Industrial Revolution has showed us that more people are miserable than ever before in the past 100 years, while we simultaneously have more technology and more things available to us. So that means that probably the assembly lines and the cubic farms are not the best way to experience the fullness of the human life. But I digress. But the point is that what you get with those, the quote rewards that you get from that 3D whatever life, what you can get and accumulate for yourself, what you can purchase, if you will, with all of this, those rules don't apply in the 5D kingdom reality, because there isn't anything to necessarily gain or lose. It is all happening in this perfect order around us called the kingdom, this dimension of reality that exists in plain sight. If you have the eye to see and the ear to hear, as Guru Jesus says, that you will be able to live into this new sort of reality. So you can't bring 3D rules into a 5D world. You can't play by the rules of, for some archaic language, this present evil age. You can't take what goes here into the divine perfect order of being that is the kingdom or 5D or new earth. It doesn't really work. And so that's something that even really inspired this video. Is I was with my friend Craig this last week, and he said, after we left, he sent me a little voice text. And he said, remember, don't get caught up in all this 3D bullshit. And that just struck a chord within me. And that probably inspired some things, because we were talking about this 5D reality. And sometimes whenever we're tempted to go back because of fear or lack, or maybe we don't have as much money in our bank account this week as we did last week, we can revert back to old things. But remember, the 3D rules do not apply to 5D reality. You cannot hard work yourself out of the cycles of this present evil age. It will only ensnare you, entrap you, and keep you on this absolute revolving door of keeping you stuck in this vibrational reality. We have the invitation to transcend this vibrational reality, to enter into what Jesus calls the kingdom, so that we can participate in healing, wholeness, transformation in ourselves and the collective, if we surrender and yield ourselves to that as being a reality for ourselves. So, 3D rules cannot be brought into 5D realities. 5D has to exist in its own space. So it's about you surrendering your expectations, assumptions, illusions, your comforts, your ideas of how things should or should not be. It's surrendering and yielding those so that divine consciousness can be awakened within you to see what Jesus saw, what other avatars saw. I'm not saying he's the only one. He's my guru and guide. And so for what it's worth. But so a 5D world doesn't play by 3D rules. My next one, really quickly, is the currency piece. So what is the currency? Because really that's what it comes down to in a lot of 3D world stuff. It's what do I need to get so I can have something to trade for other things that I want, right? And that's why we give our most prime years of our life, our best and our brightest self, to other money-making corporate entities. Why? So we can suck that money into our life and buy the cameras that we want to buy, and buy the TVs that we want, and buy the cars that we want. And here's the trip. I'm not saying that you can't have any of those things. I'm just saying the currency in which you trade for those things is going to have to align itself to the 5D reality. So, meaning that I cannot go and give my give my passion and talents, trying to combine a couple words there. I can't give my passion and talents and the best of me to something that is in the fundamental opposite of myself, like in sales, selling things that I don't believe in. I think people don't actually need in their life, upselling people on things they don't need. I'll never forget working in commercial insurance and selling somebody a policy that really they didn't need for their business. Obviously, it's good protocol to have more coverage. You know, insurance by itself is a complete fear-based industry, by the way. I still have my commercial insurance license. I've spent 5 years in insurance. And I'm telling you, it's all fear-based. People cripple under fear. That's how you can manipulate them and upsell them on more policies. Because if they're scared that something might happen, they will buy it. And I remember utilizing fear whenever I worked at an agency to upsell policies so I could get greater commission. That currency will not work in the 5D kingdom reality. It will not work. I'm using fear manipulation on someone else to extract, quote, quote, extract from them so I can have more for myself and hoard for me so I can do greater trading, so I can buy the Lotus Evora that I want to buy. So the point is, can I not get the Lotus Evora sports car? I can, but I have to allow myself to live into 5D reality. And remember that the point of my incarnation is not to drive the expensive sports car. If the expensive sports car comes along in my path by me contributing to the collective, I receive it as a gift because I can't take it with me whenever I go. So I'm whole whether I have the Lotus Evora sports car or not. If I receive it by means of doing what I'm supposed to do in line with myself, absolutely. I think that currency will be gifted to me to provide for my family and also to enjoy the incarnation, but it's not the purpose of the incarnation. In 3D world, the purpose of our incarnation mostly is to get what's mine, extract from others so I can live a good life and let other people shoulder the hard work for me. 5D says this is the currency and this is the quote work that we have to do. Each and every one of us have been given different work to do. And so business isn't necessarily bad, but it's why are you doing the business? Why are you doing it in that way? What do you hope to gain from it in some way? What do you hope to give from yourself and your talents? And so some people I know, I was just with my cousin last night, he's visiting from Indiana here in San Diego. He's brilliant whenever it comes to numbers and creating wealth for himself online and learning algorithms. I'm not, okay? That's not my thing. So he has an agency. And he's like, I thought he was in ministry with me. He was an executive pastor at the church that I was at, worship leader beforehand. He's not doing any of that anymore. He's seeing through some of the Piscean age of control and things into the Aquarian age of a distributed wealth and knowledge and contribution, not just from the top down. But he's doing these things and he's like, I could go work at a bank, but then I would just be giving all of my gifts and talents for the bank. So he's like, I'm good with algorithms and numbers, so now I'm doing it for myself, and he's helping products on Amazon get purchased more, which are homegrown pop-up places. Now, Amazon has its own other side conversation. I don't care what you think about Amazon right now. The point is the way that he's choosing for himself to contribute for his family and get the money that he needs to live the life to support his 3 children is not by just simply extracting from something else, but it's giving out of his skills. And so again, sometimes your skills might be in that. For me, my skills, are not naturally that of algorithms and numbers and things. But it's about being honest about what your contribution is. What is your kingdom reality? What has been gifted to you in this incarnation to fully live out to its fullest potential? And so he's right now, as his business has started, might be making less money on paper, but he's helping greater in the collective by people getting their startup businesses off the ground by means of, Amazon algorithms and things like that. Again, I know Jeff Bezos needs to be taxed. I don't know about all that. My point is that understanding the way of currency in the 5D is going to help us unpack and understand that. So it's about doing things out of the abundance of who we are, our natural gifts, not trying to learn the codes of 3D to extract from them. So I'm going to wrap this video up because it's quite long, but it's okay. Hopefully this is good and you're tracking. Leave a comment or a review if you are tracking with this, okay? So 5D currency, new earth currency, kingdom currency is this: energy, vibration, intention, and creativity. Those are what was downloaded to me into my meditation reflections. It took me 25 minutes to get here, but hey, we're here. Energy, vibration, intention, and creativity. These are the currencies for kingdom reality. Our energy, what we are giving ourselves to, what we are contributing towards. We all know whenever we strike that chord, we hit that cue, and it generates this energy within us. We're tired, and all of a sudden, somebody brings up a topic, and man, you get excited about that. We all have, likewise, when people share something, and then we are deflated by that. That is indication for where you need to press into and not. And so, of course, we might not have the energy to go on a run or work out or eat right, all of that stuff begins to align itself, by the way, when you align yourself with 5D and kingdom. And you begin to actually eat less, and you begin to want to engage your body more, and all of these phenomenons happen Maybe we'll do another video on that, of the phenomenon of even taste and palate, and what you have energy for does begin to shift. It becomes all of this health and wellness that you think is woo-woo, all of the sudden just becomes the natural inclination and instinct. That's the other one, instinct. I added it down here, sorry. Energy, vibration, intention, creativity, and instinct. I wrote, when you are centered and grounded and in flow with your true self, your instinct and natural inclination is your guide for all decisions and choices. Let me read that again. When you are centered and grounded and in flow, your instinct, natural inclination, and intuition is your guide for all decisions and choices. So that is another element of it, is your instinct, your energy, what naturally comes out of you, your intention, where you're focusing, your vibration, how you are functioning. If you're constantly feeling like these things that are out of vibration with you and you're feeling friction all the time, then you are not living into the currency of kingdom. You are functioning from that 3D. You're trying to, the rules. What rules are you bringing in here? You're living, part of you is living in the 5D, part of you is living in the other, and it's this friction of the breaking in of two different kingdoms. Jesus says, my kingdom is not of this world. You cannot bring the elements of this world into the kingdom reality. And the kingdom, though, can break into this world. But the world cannot break into the kingdom. The 5D can break into the 3D, but the 3D will not be able to break into the 5D. You have to pull down the 5D into this, and it changes it on a vibrational level. Remember, the water to the wine, you're changing its fundamental vibration into something else. I'm going to wrap up here with this. Creativity then, and intention. So creatively giving yourself into the fullness of those things, into those new laws, into the new reality, creatively from the natural self of who you are, that is going to be currency. And you will receive then results and gifts, maybe not in the form of monetary value, or maybe so. You will have money because that's what we need to trade right now before we're in complete new earth reality, but in other ways and forms. And so when you serve people creatively, maybe they don't give you a $5,000 check. And then maybe somebody randomly, for no reason at all, gives you a $5,000 check. That happened to me. Somebody, a neighbor, had no idea. They just said, I love what your intention is with your life. Here's $5,000 to your organization. Wow, that's incredible. They say, I love what your intention is and what you're doing with your organization. Here's $5,000. And it's another person, $1,000. I've never done anything for them that merited that. But I just keep giving freely of myself to other people, particularly in the homeless community. I serve the homeless community a lot. Do they have $10,000 to give me? No. But the point is creativity, creating the intention, and that changes the vibration, and then you are open to receive all of the gifts for where you are. Where you are has to be in kingdom reality. We're going to end with that. Peace and blessings to you. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if this resonated with you. And buckle up because we are entering into the kingdom consciousness together. Have a wonderful day, my friends.